Hey, how you guys doing? This is KLA Cloud the Wanderer on a Sunday with Eva Robertson. She's a CPA natural bodybuilder. How are you?
I'm great. How are you? It's nice to meet you.
Yeah, it's nice to meet you too. We finally get to meet.
Yeah, we've been trying to do this since, I don't know, I think you reached out in, was it June? June or July? I'm not sure.
Yeah, somewhere between that. It's been a while, so
Yeah,
it's been
but
a
here we
while.
are. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, so you started bodybuilding not too long ago. I think when we was talking, you was reaching to the finals.
Yeah, I think when you first reached
The
out,
nationals, I'm sorry. The
that's right.
nationals. Yeah, I got a little kind of confused that with basketball a little bit for a second. Nationals,
Yes, yeah,
the nationals. Go ahead.
yeah, yeah. Well, when we first started talking, I was in prep. Uh, yeah, I think I was in prep for the NB Naturals.
Okay.
And after that show, I was trying to figure out whether or not I'd move on to the nationals in such a short time. I just really started bodybuilding again in well, I guess January of this year. So yeah, so I did decide to go on to nationals, and we decided to wait until then because then there'd be more to talk about.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Okay, yeah. So, like, how was the nationals for you? Was
So
it?
nationals was amazing. I'm glad that I decided to do it. It's an interesting story that how that evolved because I was always planning to attend the nationals as a spectator. I was going to go there to support somebody else who's in the bikini division, and I was also planning a trip there as well because Ontario is my first home. I'm now in New Brunswick. And I was going to meet up with some old friends. And when I qualified for nationals at the MB Natural Show on the East Coast here, I decided why not be on stage instead of in the audience. So give me a further goal to work towards. And I ended up placing in the top five, which
Okay.
was an amazing experience for me. I never expected it. I kind of went there with the expectation of just getting my feet wet on stage, on a national stage with top level competitors. And I ended up doing pretty well, I think. So, yeah.
So, so basically, you got to, even though you did well, you basically got to kind of start all over, if I could say that.
Start all over with
No, like that you missed your pro card. That's what I'm trying to.
oh yeah, no, I didn't qualify for a pro card
Oh,
at all. That was a pro qualifier,
okay.
the event that I participated in. But I landed on the top five, which will enable me to go directly to another pro qualifier within the year, within the 12 months from the date of that competition, which was August 2nd, and without having to qualify or re-qualify at a regional show.
Oh,
So
okay.
I'm not sure, if that's the route that I would go. I think that anytime you participate in a show, it's just another experience to gain confidence and more knowledge. So I haven't quite decided yet what routes I'm going to take, but I certainly think I would like to try again another pro qualifier.
Okay.
So
Maybe you want to break down the pro qualifier. Excuse me, I'm trying to learn. I'm trying to learn the bodybuilding stuff. It's I'm not, I know some things, but I don't know everything. When you say pro qualify, I just know the
okay,
overall and the regional and the
yes, yeah,
national
yeah,
and you know and
yeah.
masters.
Right. Okay. So the way that I was enabled to the way that I was able to compete at a pro qualifier. So a pro qualifier being a chance to win your pro card.
Oh,
And at this particular event, my division was women's physique masters, and the age category that they had was 40 years of age and up.
oh, okay.
So anybody 40 and up. And it was my understanding that they were going to allocate 2 pro cards in that division. And what was I going to say about that?
You in Canada, right? Are you
Pardon
in
me?
Canada? Are you in
Yes,
Canada?
that's right.
Okay. That's why I got a little confused a bit because
Oh, okay.
I'm here in the States, and
Yes.
I know it's like the nationals where people get their pro cards, but yeah,
Oh, okay.
I
Yeah, the
understand.
IFBB
Yeah,
and the CPA, I guess the language is maybe a little bit different, but I
yeah,
think the circumstances for qualifying
yeah.
and competing
It's the
are
same.
very similar.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Yeah, so I was able to compete at that show because the previous show, the MB Naturals, which was, I believe it was the beginning of June. I think it was the beginning of June. I won the first place in the women's physique division, which was again like a complete shock for me. It was a great experience, having only started, in January, really seriously bodybuilding. So yeah,
You
it was
started
great.
January of this year.
Yes,
Oh wow.
yes,
Okay.
yeah, yeah. So I mean, I can kind of backpedal and talk about.
Yeah, I was eventually going to ask you how did you start, but I didn't always want to start there. I want to,
Yeah,
it
yeah,
seemed like that's the basic thing to do. Is everybody seemed like that's like the norm or something. I want to
yeah.
make it a little orthodox. You know,
That sounds great. I mean, I'm all for that. So we can, start from where the present and work our way back to the
right,
past.
right.
But yeah, so I basically I could probably go all the way back to say of April of 2023. So basically, I had just arrived in a new province. So I'm currently in New Brunswick from Ontario the year before. And that was, completely new. So, you're not quite a foreigner, but you're just not in the same environment that you're used to. And newly retired as well after a 30-year career in health sciences. And also an empty nester. So both my children are grown and now living their own lives. So there were a lot of changes to adapt to, and I was feeling a little lost, and got myself into a bit of a dark place, not quite knowing what I was going to do with myself now, um, having all this time on my hands and whatnot. And I thought, well, during that time, I gained a little bit of weight, more than I'm used to carrying on my frame. And one morning, I just decided I just felt awful and wanted to regain my health. And also, my mental health was suffering as well. Not really being happy, not knowing, what purpose I had in life now, finding a new passion. So that is basically the day I decided I need to get back into health and fitness. I've always kind of I've been on and off with that. I actually competed in a bodybuilding show back in my late 20s when I was 27, I think, and had that experience as well. And ever since then I'd weight train, I'd do other things, but I wouldn't do things consistently. So I decided to do my own research and get into a bit of a body recomp, and started looking into online influencers and just information that way. And just started walking a lot, doing my own exercise up here in my room. I just set myself up and studying, nutrition and macros and and setting out a plan for myself. And I was able to bring my weight down by about 30 pounds until I got more serious about it in January. In the interim, my son was here for a bit in between living in Ontario and then setting himself up in Alberta. And he's always been an avid bodybuilder. And while he was here, he decided to compete in one of the local East Coast shows. And so I kind of helped him and observed him in his prep for that. And it just kind of revved me up again, got me going again. I thought, I wonder if I can do this again, you know? So he was kind of my inspiration in that way to pick up the weights again. And at the same time, January of this year, I learned of a transformation challenge through the Atlantic Classic show. And that was in this province in New Brunswick. It was being held in Moncton. And it all just kind of aligned. And I thought, well, here's a challenge. Here's something for me to work towards. So, you know, the winner basically would receive a cash prize, which was kind of a first for this particular challenge. And, you know, money's always nice too, but it was more, you know, just having something to spur me on. So, so we got going with that. And I think the challenge started January 18th and ended May 17th. The show was, I think, on the 24th. And in a 4-month period, was able to lose an additional 41 pounds. And I basically won the transformation challenge, which was an amazing experience as well. There it is. So that's me at the start of the challenge. And then the middle is at the end of the challenge. Yeah. And then that third picture you see is basically 5 weeks after, and that was just before the NB Naturals. Right there.
That's good. Did other people compete? I'm like, what? It wasn't really a competition.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's right. So the challenge was held within the competition, within a bodybuilding competition. So we basically came on midway through. And I think 25 competitors, somewhere in there, originally registered, and 18 ended up on stage. Yeah, so there were 18 of us. And it wasn't just, you know, the number of pounds lost per se, but an overall look and achievement, I guess. So yeah, so that was a great experience and a great inspiration to keep going. So that third picture that you see, so I was able to achieve a little more growth in a 5-week period. And I decided to try for figure, thinking that genetically, physique-wise, that would be the best division for me. And I ended up, so that was the transformation challenge. So that was the end of the transformation challenge.
Yeah, you look nice.
Right there. Yeah. And so in the 5 weeks before the next competition, NB Naturals, decided to go into the figure division. And I did end up competing in that division, but about a week before the competition itself, I really thought I kind of want to try out physique as well, because that's always kind of been my first love. I like the actual meat and bones of getting a little more muscular, and I love the poses as well, and being able to do the routine where you don't really do an evening or 60-second routine to music in the other divisions. And yeah, I ended up placing first for physique, having made that decision about a week before. So I'm really glad that I did take the
and this is the recent one. Was this the recent?
Yeah, this is the most recent one. This is from the National Naturals, the Pro Qualifier that just happened in August.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm not sure.
Okay.
You might have a post of the other. Yeah, that's the nationals there. So that's the top five right there.
Mm, that's
Yeah,
good.
yeah.
What was it like competing against these women?
It was incredible. I mean, you can see how much work they've all put into their physique.
Yeah.
I was grateful to share the stage with them. It was quite surreal, really. It's kind of always a bit of a whirlwind too,
Mm,
you're there a long time for the day. I mean, everything that leads up to it, of course, right? But the day of the competition, you start out, very, very early in the morning, and for that one, we were there very, very late in the evening. But it just seems to go by like a whirlwind like that, and I'm still kind of taking it all in, and still just kind of realizing what it all means as well. So, I kind of feel like that's been my whole experience since January. I'm just kind of like all these decisions I that were never really all really well thought out, like this is my what I'm going to do next, I'm going to do this next. And I kind of just rolled with what was happening.
okay.
So yeah, I'm still just kind of taking it all in, really.
And I was gonna ask you the CPA, do they have women's bodybuilding for any
Yeah, yes
chance?
they do.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, they do. So the women's physique is just one under the women's bodybuilding in terms of the level of muscularity and what they're looking for.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hmm.
So you didn't really have a big problem of just preparing for your first show.
um like a problem, like
Like, I mean, was it easy for you to since you had like bodybuilding experience like years before?
um yeah, I don't know if easy is the right word, but
Yeah.
I think it comes more like, I think it felt more natural to me. Like I wasn't starting out like from, base level. I think I had some muscle memory as well. My results seemed to happen quickly. Uh, it wasn't wishful thinking. It was a lot of hard work, right? A lot of careful eating as well, right? All about the prep, and there's quite a few restrictions that go along with your diet and your training and your rest, supplementation, things like that. So, um, but I could just I was very adaptable to it, and I really had that goal in mind. I had that finish line in mind. The fact that so I'm talking more about the transformation challenge, the initial one, the challenge itself. Excuse
Mm,
me. Um, but yeah, and then I kind of was on a roll, as I said. And so after the challenge, having lost that weight, and the other thing I should mention is when I went into the challenge, I kind of went in with the mindset that I wanted it to be a prep. I wanted it to feel like I was prepping for my first competition, like I could walk onto a competitive stage. And what I had in mind was fit model, because I didn't know what level of physique or muscularity I could bring in such a short time, getting ready 4 months, right?
yeah.
So that I think helped me as well to get ready for the NB Naturals 5 weeks later, because I was already in that kind of mental mode of being competitive and prepping for the competitive stage. So in that respect, it became, maybe that's why it felt a little easier for me or more natural for me. And yeah, I just figured, why stop now? And I might as well continue on with this, and I'm glad I did, because we placed well, and that enabled me to go to the nationals, and here we are now. Yeah.
Okay. So what's your plans like to do another show?
So right now I'm basically in a reverse diet slash recovery mode.
Oh,
Essentially, I've been prepping for 7 months straight.
mm,
That's a pretty long time to prep.
yeah.
So I'm kind of just taking a little bit of time now to get my calories back up, rest my body a bit. I was starting to have a few issues with my shoulder,
Mm.
and I know that it needs a bit of rest as well. So I'm just really starting now to get back into the weights as well. But I don't have a definite plan per se right now. I'm just going to take these next few months to just to see if I can get back into a building mode, and then go from there. So my ultimate plan is to make some mass gains over the winter. And when the season starts up again in the spring, we'll see what the best direction is to go.
Okay. So you said your son is bodybuilding also. He did like a competition. Like, how did he do? Like, I don't know. You said that. Like,
Yeah, he's into classic physique.
oh,
Um,
okay.
yeah, he likes the Arnold Schwarzenegger era very much.
Yeah.
Um, and he did. Let's see, what did he do now? I believe he placed second and third, and he was also able to go on to nationals. He did. So he did the NB Naturals, and then he went on to the East Coast Open in August. And I can't remember how he placed there, but I know he did get Best Posing Award,
That's
which was
good.
which
Yeah.
was kind of cool. Yeah,
Yeah, that's good. I wish I'd have showed a picture of him, but I was
it
concentrating on you with
yeah. If
yeah,
you scroll back
yeah,
in the Instagram, you'd probably
yeah. I would do it on my computer, but sometimes my computer it acts up and stuff. Let me try. If you get a little twirling, let me see. Hold on for a second.
yeah. I'm going to scroll back too, and of course I've got lots of
Yeah,
pictures on my phone. Let me see what I can bring up.
I'm Eva Robertson.
His name is Tristan Robertson, by the way.
Okay, Tristan Roberts. I'm gonna pop up your Instagram so we can look at it together. All right. So tell me when you see it. You see it?
Yeah, that's me. That's
Okay.
Tristan, but that's not his bodybuilding.
All right.
Oh, dear.
He's the one holding the cat.
Yes, right.
Tristan Robertson.
Okay, here I've got a few.
Yeah, yeah,
I've got a few
yeah.
shots.
Well, I'm at his side page. Can you see it? Can you see?
Yeah, that's him. Yeah, that's him. That's him
Okay. Yeah,
in the weight training room
yeah,
there. But
yeah. He's getting there. He's
he's
getting
yeah.
there.
Oh, here. These are better shots here. I don't know. If you go back to mine, you'll see him on stage. He's got stage shots here.
Hold on. 'Cause I don't want to get a little confused sometimes. Start. Okay.
He does.
So
I
I'm
don't
at
know.
your IG page.
Yeah.
How you want? Oh, is this? Oh, okay. This is on him competing.
Oh,
Wow.
there he is on the far left,
Right.
right there. Yeah.
Left. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. He has a nice physique.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's got a nice classic physique. So
Yeah.
he
Nice classic physique.
yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know whether he'll I don't know whether he has any uh, definite plans to compete again anytime soon. He's busy being a business owner.
Yeah. Yeah.
He's a co.
Oh,
Yeah.
how old is
He's,
he?
how old is he? He's 24.
Yeah.
Yeah.
24. Okay. Wow. Yeah.
Yeah.
He got his own business. 24.
We don't need to scroll through my Instagram anymore. I'm getting.
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh,
This is your husband. How does your husband feel about you competing?
oh, there they are. Oh, well, he's pretty impressed. He loves it. He loves it, and
Yeah.
And it's also an inspiration to him because he's actually gotten back into the gym himself. Uh, he's never really been a weightlifter per se, but he's totally
Right.
getting into it now and experiencing the wonderful benefits of it. Um, so yeah, he's pretty proud. He's pretty proud.
Yeah.
He's keeping up, as he says.
Do you have like family or friends that went to go see your show?
Yeah, actually, the last, so being out here on the East Coast, away from where I grew up in Ontario, that's kind of difficult to have family and friends in the audience. But when I went
Yeah.
back to nationals, which was in Toronto, I was actually to have my whole family there, which was lovely. That was the first time to have both my kids there too. But I also had some good friends there that actually hosted us. They were so generous, they always are, but they hosted the whole family they put us up for like, I don't know, 4 days for the whole weekend and us for a little bit longer. They were in the audience as well, and that was wonderful. And they fed us very well, and I took advantage of that after the competition, I must say.
Yeah. Well, you have any favorite food that you ate like after the show?
Oh, after the show, it's interesting. After the first two shows, all I really wanted was it's so strange, but just chicken wings and
Chicken.
chicken
Okay.
wings. Yeah, I know, and vegetables with blue cheese dip. But the other thing, and it sounds silly, but the other thing that I always miss when I'm in prep because you're in such a restricted carb mode is just grabbing a nice big juicy apple and just eating an apple.
Yeah.
I think my favorite thing. So I always make sure I have an apple and my husband's biscotti. I have to say, my husband is a world-class biscotti maker. If you don't know what
Yeah.
biscotti are, they're double-baked Italian cookies, but
Oh,
the
them
way
cook. Yeah. Right. I got you.
he
Yeah.
makes them are out of this world. And so I always make sure we have a bag of those on hand for after the competition because I
Mm,
love those.
yeah. To piggyback on the fruits, yeah, I heard bodybuilders don't eat too much fruits.
Well, so when you're in, I wouldn't even say just when you're in prep mode. I mean, when you're in building season as well. I mean, we try to concentrate on the most nutritious, clean, whole
Yeah.
food,
Right.
that you can eat. And the carbs are pretty important as well for your energy. But you don't want to get your carb energy source through, um, sugars, fast digesting sugars. You want to concentrate on rices and sweet potato, oatmeal, things like that. And of course, the protein, right, is so important for building the muscle itself. And so, they tend to focus on fish and chicken breast and lean cuts of beef and that sort of
Mm,
thing. Yeah, yeah, so I mean, not that they don't treat themselves every now and then, but the diet is pretty regimented, as is the training plan.
mm. Do you get tired of eating the same food?
Yeah, you can, and I think bodybuilders look for different ways to make it a little more exciting. A lot of us like our hot sauces and our 0 calorie, sauces to kind of like spice it up a little bit. You,
Yeah.
you learn some pretty creative cooking techniques too. Um, but I don't know. After a while, it just feels good too, though, to eat clean and whole foods. When you go a little off the rails, as you
Mhm.
can after a competition, and because as you're prepping and you're cutting for a competition, it becomes even more restrictive. So if you go off the rails a bit afterwards, I don't know. I can only speak for myself, but body doesn't like it. It really doesn't. It tends to revolt. It's not used to the high fats and the sugars and the processed foods. If that's something that you
Yeah.
take,
Yeah.
and the inflammation and the water weight and everything else, and it just doesn't feel good at all. So I'd rather not. I'm always happy to get back to more regimented eating and cleaner style of eating. And it doesn't have to be boring. It doesn't. I mean, you have to experiment a bit.
Yeah, yeah. There's some bodybuilders, they eat grilled chicken and rice. That seems like that's the norm for a bodybuilder meal.
Lots of rice, lots of chicken, lots of
Yeah,
fish and oatmeal and yeah, yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Is this the only organization you want to compete in? The CPA?
I've never really thought about that. I don't know if I'd go over to the States or not in the future.
Yeah,
Um, I do get on the website and I look at all the different shows. I've already been looking into all the different shows that come up, and I know that there are some. I know there's a pro qualifier in. I think it was it Virginia that I saw at the end of the November, but
probably look at some.
yeah. So I don't know. I would never say never. Like I wouldn't say no. I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'd
I
be
bet
open.
I've been to the OCB, like the natural body, like the shows and stuff. I went to a recent one. The recent one in Brooklyn, but I was there last year also. Yeah, it was all right. Yeah, they have the men's physique, men's bodybuilding. This year I went for the women's bodybuilding, the women's figure and women's physique and wellness and bikini. But I didn't stay that long. I couldn't really stay long, but I stayed for the figure and women's physique. And yeah, they're like an amateur. It's an amateur show, really.
I
Yeah,
see.
they call it
Oh,
the Big Apple and stuff.
I see. I see.
Yeah,
Okay. Yeah, I'm not too familiar with all the different levels of the different shows. I've heard of
yeah,
OCB just through looking at
yeah,
some people that I follow on Instagram, but I didn't really know
yeah.
what it meant. Yeah.
Yeah, I also went to what I went to the Double Down in Atlantic City. They have a show in Atlantic City
Mm.
where I think it's an amateur show also. Yeah,
Okay. Yeah.
so yeah,
Hmm.
but that's my knowledge of natural bodybuilding. I remember I was interviewing someone and I wanted to like learn more of what the OCB was about because I've interviewed people from IFBB, and I have a friend that he focuses on IFBB, and that's all in my head, IFBB. And so when I interviewed this particular person, she was telling me about the OCB, and so I kind of looked up. Well, she told me that they had a show here in New York, so I went to the show. Yeah, so we
Hmm.
got a comment. Joseph, what does your weekly cardio look like?
So at the moment, I'm doing about 40 minutes, um, 5 times a week, steady state, and I'm keeping my heart rate up in between 120 and 130. So doing a little cardiovascular training that way. During prep, it was more of a low intensity steady state. So more between 80 and 100 beats per minute for fat loss. And I mean, I was doing anywhere upwards of an hour and 10 a day at some points during my cutting. But yeah, now all that's kind of being pulled back, and just getting ready for building season. So
Hmm, okay, that's good.
mhm.
Um, yeah. So like, what was I gonna ask you? I forgot. I hate when. Well, look, we could look at some more pictures. It'll pop up to me. Yeah, yeah. You look really nice. What's your height?
My height.
Yeah.
Well, that's interesting because I always thought I was 5'5" and a half.
Yeah.
When they measured me at the nationals, the last show, they measured me in at 5'3". I thought
I
surely I
didn't know
couldn't.
you don't look that short.
No, well, I'm wearing some heels there for figure.
Yeah, silly
That was
me.
my
I'm a
part
silly
of that was
rabbit.
my
Yeah.
figure part there.
Yeah.
But they measured me at 5'3", and I I thought that was interesting because when I got home, I measured myself again, and I was over 5'4", at least 5'4 3/4". So that's
Mm.
where I'm at, around there somewhere.
Mm. Do you have like just knowing about the sport? Are there like anybody that you follow or like
Oh yeah,
inspire you a bit?
oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I'm glad you asked that question because that's another reason why I got back into bodybuilding as I started to do my own research for my body recomp. Of course, I'm on social media, so I started coming across some competitors, and there's several, and I still find them like every time I scroll. There's certain ones that I just latch onto. I just really admire their not just their physique, but their spirit and the message that they put across, the way they look at the sport of bodybuilding and how they encourage others. Um, and just their comments, and their posts are very, very helpful and inspirational. So yeah, there's a few, and not necessarily all in the physique division. There's one that's in the wellness um, division, and her story is like, I wouldn't say it's similar to mine. I'd say that I'm a bit similar to her in that 5 years ago she also won a transformation challenge, and now she's winning national level wellness division almost at every turn, and it's probably just a matter of time before she gets her pro card.
Okay.
Can
Yeah.
I say her name?
Of course you can.
Her name's her name's Jillian Parker. Jilly Parker. She's wonderful. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah.
She does her own training, and she does.
Do you guys talk or
We talk. Well, I met her a couple times in person. Yeah, we've
oh, that's cool.
backstage, but mainly on Instagram. But
Oh,
yeah, she does training and teaches posing as well for the wellness girls.
oh,
But she was one of my very first inspirations.
that's
And
good.
there's another Canadian. Her name's Amber Larson, and she's in physique, and think she's based out of Alberta. And she was also probably one of the first physique competitors that I found online when I got back into it. And
Oh.
she's also a wonderful person too. She's very, very inspirational.
Are you familiar with Melanie Horton?
Say the name again. Sorry,
Melanie Horton.
Melanie
She's
Horton.
a women's bodybuilder. She's a IFBB pro. She lives in Canada, but there's
Okay.
this Canadians that are IFBB pros and stuff.
Yeah, no, I'm not familiar with her name. I may have come across her post, but I'm not familiar with her
Yeah.
name.
Well, I just thought good Canadian, but but you're in another organization. You're natural. She's not maybe. You
Open.
know,
Yeah,
yeah. So
yeah.
yeah. Like how would you like educate somebody in the sport of bodybuilding? Because bodybuilding it's not like a mainstream sport. There's always assumptions and
Yes.
it's an extreme sport where people don't understand. 'Cause for instance, there were moments where I just didn't understand it. Like why is it like this way? Like
Yeah,
what does
yeah.
this mean? Like these terminologies and
Right,
you know.
right. Yeah, well, all those things you said are true. I mean, it can be very extreme and misunderstood. But I think the number one thing, I mean, that I always um, say is just how important weight training itself is, especially for women of a certain age, in a certain stage of life. And I've been approached many times at the gym. You know, the women they see me working in there, and they've seen my results because they saw, you know, who I was in January, and who I am now. And you know, they come up and they want to talk and find out what I'm doing and whatnot. But you know, I always the first thing I always say is the weight training is so much more, I feel, important than the cardio. You're just going to transform your body when you lift weights. You don't have to lift heavy weight. You're not going to turn into some gargantuan, you know, muscle bound body. Um, but what you are going to do is gain strength and flexibility and mobility, you know, as long as you stretch and take care of your body before and after, and work on all of that as well. Um, and you know, you're going to increase your metabolism, and the rate at which you burn calories at rest is so important, because all of that slows down as we age and we enter into certain stages of our lives. And so that's always the first thing I say. And you know, just to start, even if you have to start with your own body weight, you can progress from there. Yeah, and I do, you know, I give a few little pointers out about, you know, how to progress, and you know, you need to start, you know, lifting weight progressively and working up toward it, and proper form and technique, and all of that. And then I also talk about nutrition, of course, and I just think it's really important for anybody who's getting into a fitness regime to do the work of um, of researching and informing themselves, because there's just, I mean, everybody has a phone now at their fingertips, and you can go online, and there's just so much that you can find out for yourself about, you know, not just about counting calories, but about macros, and you know, what kind of carbs
Yeah.
to take in, and protein, and whatnot.
Yeah.
So yeah, I always kind of
Yes.
start there.
Yeah, sometimes I do that. Like if I don't understand some things, I just kind of Google. Yeah, so
Yeah,
yeah, especially with
yeah.
the bulking. I remember I asked somebody about that. You know, I wasn't like I didn't fully understood, but then I started understanding, you know, the amount of calories the person takes and stuff. And yeah,
Mhm, mhm.
yeah,
Well, and everybody's different too, so that's the other thing, right? You know, you won't necessarily get the same results that I may have gotten doing exactly what I did. You've got to find what works for you. So that's another good point to bring up too, is that, you know, you have to work at your own pace, and find what works for you, and not everything is going to be the same for every person, right? So
right.
yeah.
When you was doing figure, like when you first just started like going back to bodybuilding, like how was you like preparing for your show, like in terms of being on stage in front of people? Were you nervous?
Oh yeah. Yeah, very well. It's interesting, because, and I've realized this about myself, and it's almost the same every, like, not that I've done many shows, but every show that I've done, it seems very surreal. Like I don't even realize that I'm going to be up on that stage until I'm backstage, just moments before I get on the stage. And then that's when it all hits me. And that's when the nerves start. And I don't know if that's a good thing or not, because it comes piling on, right? To the point where I just have to, you know, really regulate my breathing and calm myself down, kind of thing. Um, but so that's the immediate reaction. But yeah, I think for me, I think the most important thing in terms of, if what you were asking was like,
Were you nervous, like in like I would say your first show, or even like in January when you first started? Like, were you too? Was you anxious? Like too anxious? Yeah, I mean, I
Well,
think you answered it. Like you try to like try to breathe and try not to get
yeah,
nervous.
yeah. Well, I again, before I even went backstage, I was sitting in the audience
Yeah,
watching the other competitors because I wasn't the transformation challenge wasn't going to be introduced until just before or just after intermission, so halfway
yeah,
through the evening program. And so I was sitting in the audience cheering on the competitors on stage and just not even really thinking about my time on the stage until it was time for me to go backstage and get my suit on and get ready. And, so by get ready, I'm like pump up a little bit, get some blood flow into my muscles, whatever. And the great thing about that first experience for me was that my son was at that competition with me. He flew down. He flew down to be there. He said there was no way he was going to miss his mom on stage for the first time, which I'm so grateful for. But he ended up surprising me with a backstage pass. He had went out and got himself a backstage pass so that he could coach me backstage, and that made all the difference in the world because I was like a deer in the headlights when I got backstage, and it was very surreal because all the bodybuilders were back there, all in various states of readiness, and it was like pure. I don't know. It was like nothing I'd never ever experienced before. My son, having done bodybuilding two competitions before me, kind of knew what to expect back there. So he literally took me by the hand and got me to the point where I was just, I wouldn't have known what to do with myself. And he kind of walked me through the motions to the point where I had my little, black dressing gown on over my suit. And he says, "Mom, it's time to take the robe off."
yeah. I mean, yeah, yeah,
Have to get comfortable backstage here if you're, in your suit before you even hit the stage, and I'm like, "Oh no, I know, you're right." So he just got me pumped up, and he got me the final carbs in me, and he just got me feeling comfortable being exposed, in my suit like that. And it just made all the difference for me, that first experience. So I'm
yeah.
really grateful to him for that. So yeah, when you say, are family and friends important? Are they there for you? Absolutely. They make
Yeah,
all the
that's good. That just your son. Yeah, it was there for you. I mean, he knows how you feel because he's competing, and yeah,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, he made it a wonderful experience, that first one. And yeah, yeah. But like I said, that's something that I personally feel I need to work on is just stage presence and confidence. But I've been doing it for 7 months, 8 months. I'm still a newborn, really. So that's why I think, yeah, like just having multiple experiences on stage, it's a good thing. It gives you a chance to learn more, to experience being on the stage, and just developing a stage presence and confidence. I think it's key. And that for me, just going back to something I wanted to touch on was just how important it is. Just if you're going to be in heels, if you're in a division, figure on down to fit model where you're in heels, um, practice walking in your heels,
yeah.
practice
I
standing in your heels.
yeah,
I
I'm glad
mean,
you covered that.
oh, being in until I'd done it myself, I just gained such a level of respect for the girls up there posing, holding it all together, holding it all in, and posing and walking the heels. It's you can't imagine how difficult it is just watching them up there. But not only that, but also posing itself. Learn how to pose for your physique, because you can have the best physique up there, but if you can't showcase it, it's really going to reflect in your placings and your confidence on stage too.
Yeah.
So that's something I need to work on a lot is my posing. I'm very new to all of that too. So
Mm.
some bodybuilders pose every day, regardless of whether they're, heading towards a competition or not. I think it's a pretty good practice myself, even
Yeah.
if it's only 5 or 10 minutes.
Yeah.
But
I know women's physique, they have like four poses, right? Like they
well,
have
go ahead. The
they have
CPA, they have
the
the five
CPA.
mandatory. They have five mandatory poses.
Uh,
I don't know. I'm pretty sure the IFBB as well.
yeah.
Um, the front double bicep, the back double bicep. We've got the side chest, the side tricep, and the ab and thigh. Those are the five.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And again, there's just so many different little nuances and little tweaks and just ways to hold yourself and tips and whatnot. And again, like everybody's body is different. So, what one tweak works for somebody may not work for the other. So it's really very personal and just takes a lot of practice. And the actual holding of the poses itself is a very strenuous activity. Sometimes it feels more strenuous than actually weightlifting.
Yeah. Yeah. I've heard.
Yeah,
I've heard. It's
yeah, you're
not for
very
me.
like I get very, very sore after a good posing practice session because you're just
Mm.
really tensing everything up.
How long
But
you do it for?
well, it depends on what your coach is wanting you to do because a lot of that takes energy as well, time and energy. So I think in the earlier days, probably posing a little bit more, but then they do like to tweak it down as you get closer to the prep date, so you conserve your energy and you don't stress your muscles out too much. I don't know. I think it's probably a personal thing for depending on where each bodybuilder is at and how their level of experience, I guess. But even 15 minutes a day, I don't think would be, too much.
Mm. Mm. That's cool. Like for like working out, like I think I know you talked about that you're working on some things, but what are the things that particularly you need to work out?
For myself,
Yeah,
just,
like
well,
body parts, like
yes.
certain body
Okay.
parts.
Yes. Yes. So I did get some judges' feedback, and yeah, I wasn't surprised to learn of
Um,
some of the improvements I need to make, being so new. But particularly for my division in physique, looking for the X frame, more cap shoulder, like more mass gaining in general in my whole shoulder area. So particularly front and rear. When I get going, my delts are, they're there, but they need a little extra work. And a little more width and depth in my back, and a little more quad sweep in my thigh. But so far, that's kind of what I need to work on. I need to make some mass gains there.
and you told me that you're retired, like outside of bodybuilding. What do you do, like during the day, like just
Yeah.
to keep your mind calm and cause I know the way I see bodybuilding, it can be stressful too
Mhm.
at a certain point. You know,
Yeah,
I
yeah,
was
for
just
sure.
asking. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. So for me, my personality is I'm kind of an all or nothing. Like when I jump into something, I jump, I'm all in. And maybe for this last little while, that's put me in a good place because I was able to really make those gains and keep rolling with it. But now that I've kind of taken a step back just to, do a little reverse and recovery and kind of hone in on what I need to do next and kind of make some decisions there. It's hard. It's hard to put the brakes on like that, and I kind of have to force myself to get back into some of those things that I wasn't doing at all. It was all about bodybuilding. So gardening and reading and just spending more time outdoors and in nature, hiking, um, things like that. Simple things, kayaking. I went back to Ontario for a couple of weeks and went to the family cottage and spent time there and with friends, and family, and that was wonderful. That was wonderful. But it's hard, yeah. It's hard to kind of like all of a sudden put the brakes on and try to flip into something else completely. And I have to say that I did kind of feel not like myself, until I got back home and I got back into the gym and back onto my eating plan. And I have to say I did feel a lot better than it's just what I'm used to now.
That's good. I mean,
Yeah.
it's more of a therapy for you.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And that's the point that I wanted to touch on too, is just bodybuilding, getting back into bodybuilding and health and wellness and training has been a bit of a savior for me. So I don't take it for granted, and I'm very grateful for it. And if I'm going to feel sore, or if I'm not, if I'm going to restrict myself with some certain foods, I'm good for it, because it's done so much more for my mental health as well as my physical health. I'm no longer taking medications that I was having to take before. My whole outlook on life has changed. It's just been a great thing for me. So
Yeah.
yeah, don't think
Did
I'd
you
ever
did,
want to stop at this point.
yeah. Did you compete before? Like, cause you told me like you competed like in your 20s.
No, so what happened back in my 20s is, again, when I was just, I guess I was really taking bodybuilding more seriously just on my own. I was just in a small community center gym, and I was approached by a person who was also interested in experiencing what it would be like to train somebody. And so they approached me and said, you look like you could do well at bodybuilding, and I'd like to know what it would be like to train somebody. Do you want to do this thing together? And I said, sure. So we worked at this for I think 3 months and got me ready to get on the stage. And it was a very amateur level kind of thing, a production back then. It's 33 years ago. If I remember, I was 27. So um and there was no such thing as any of these divisions. It was all
Yeah.
just,
Yeah.
strictly women's bodybuilding, men's bodybuilding.
Yeah.
And uh, it was an experience. I didn't place, and I didn't do much after that either. It was a very extreme experience for me. Because I think we had 6 months to get ready for this show that he had in mind. So I did, 3 months of bulking, and then 3 months of extreme cutting. And the whole process was very extreme. And I just thought, wow, I don't know if I, could live this way.
Yeah.
and and so I didn't really explore it after that.
What was your placement at the time? You remember?
Yeah, no, I didn't place. I didn't place
Oh,
there. No, no.
okay.
Yeah,
Mm.
yeah. But it
Well, I
was
mean,
fun.
yeah. Well, you have a new beginning, so yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of the way I'm looking at it. It is a new beginning, and starting with that transformation challenge in January, it really has been. Like I said, it's been a saving kind of grace for me. It's put me in a better place. So yeah, I have no plans to stop bodybuilding or reaching for my next goals. So yeah.
Yeah.
Again, I don't quite know what they are yet. I kind of roll with it as things present. I'm a big believer in the universe presenting things to you when it's time.
Yeah.
You're not ready till you're ready, kind of
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
And and if it doesn't always go your way the first time, well, there's a reason for that too, right? There's a lesson to be
Right.
learned. But at the same
Right.
time, I've also learned like there's always a silver lining somewhere too if you just look for it, you know? So if there's a negative that happens, there's always something positive on the flip side, you know?
Right.
So yeah, I just kind of wait for things to present themselves, and if it looks attractive to me, then away we go.
Yeah. Well, I bet I wish you the best on your journey,
Thank you.
Yeah, and
Thank you.
thank you for sharing and giving me the opportunity to speak with me on your bodybuilding.
Well, thank you for
Yeah.
reaching out. It was a pleasure to talk about
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Really appreciate it. Yeah. Yeah, so I'm gonna let you go, and anybody you want to shout out or anything like that? Your son probably.
I think I've talked about enough about him.
Yeah. All
Yeah.
right. All
Yeah,
right.
no,
Cool.
no, I just, no, just grateful for my friends and family, and support of my coaches, and the community in general. I want to shout out the East Coast bodybuilding community. There you go.
Yeah.
Because they're fantastic, very supportive, very encouraging, and top notch out here in the East Coast. So I'm glad to be part of it. There you go.
All right. Well, thank you again.
Thank you.
All right. Bye.
Bye.